Abraham bade the 3 men lean against the trunk of the tree. Thus he would soon learn their worth or their unworthiness. Being of the truly pious, who promise little but perform much, Abraham said only, I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your heart, seeing that ye chance to pass my tent at dinner time. Then, after ye have given thanks to God, ye may pass on. But when the meal was served to the guests, it was a royal banquet, exceeding Solomon's at the time of his most splendid magnificence. Abraham himself ran into the herd to fetch cattle for meat. He slaughtered 3 calves, that he might be able to set a tongue with mustard before each of his guests. In order to accustom Ishmael to God-pleasing deeds, he had him dress the calves, and he bade Sarah to bake the bread. But as he knew that women are apt to treat guests niggardly, he was explicit in his request to her. He said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of meal, yea, fine meal. As it happened, the bread was not brought to the table, because it had accidentally become unclean, and our father Abraham was accustomed to eat his daily bread only in a clean state. Abraham himself served his guests, and it appeared to him that the 3 men ate. But this was an illusion. In reality the angels did not eat. Only Abraham, his 3 friends, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, and his son Ishmael partook of the banquet, and the portions set before the angels were devoured by a heavenly fire. Although the angels remained angels even in their human disguise, nevertheless the personality of Abraham was so exalted that in his presence the archangels felt insignificant. After the meal the angels asked after Sarah, though they knew that she was in retirement in her tent, but it was proper for them to pay their respects to the lady of the house and send her the cup of wine over which the blessing had been said. Michael, the greatest of the angels, thereupon announced the birth of Isaac. He drew a line upon the wall, saying, When the sun crosses this point, Sarah will be with child, and when he crosses the next point, she will give birth to a child. This communication, which was intended for Sarah and not for Abraham, to whom the promise had been revealed long ago, the angels made at the entrance to her tent, but Ishmael stood between the angel and Sarah, for it would not have been seemly to deliver the message in secret, with none other by. Yet so radiant was the beauty of Sarah that a beam of it struck the angel, and made him look up. In the act of turning toward her, he heard her laugh within herself. Is it possible that these bowels can yet bring forth a child, these shriveled breasts give suck? And though I should be able to bear, yet is not my lord Abraham old? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Am I too old to do wonders? And wherefore doth Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I, of a surety, bear a child, which am old? The reproach made by God was directed against Abraham as well as against Sarah, for he too had showed himself of little faith when he was told that a son would be born unto him. But God mentioned only Sarah's incredulity, leaving Abraham to become conscious of his defect himself. Regardful of the peace of their family life, God had not repeated Sarah's words accurately to Abraham. Abraham might have taken amiss what his wife had said about his advanced years, and so precious is the peace between husband and wife that even the Holy One, blessed be He, preserved it at the expense of truth. After Abraham had entertained his guests, he went with them to bring them on their way, for important as the duty of hospitality is, the duty of speeding the parting guest is even more important. Their way lay in the direction of Sodom, whither 2 of the angels were going, the one to destroy it, and the second to save Lot, while the third, his errand to Abraham fulfilled, returned to heaven. End of chapter 5, part 7.